Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about my girl, number 305, Jhoira, the Weatherlight Captain. She's we all loved her the first go around because she's a totally different person now. She ain't waiting 4 turns no more. She wants it now. And by the way, this is probably some of the greatest art I've ever seen. It almost looks like a photograph. She is absolutely gorgeous. I love the. No kidding. Here. No kidding. This is my phone. How do we work this? How do I smartphone? Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is when I'm recording it. So hey. Anyway, love the art. She's amazing. But let's talk about what she does. Cast a historic spell. You draw a card. Wow, this is really good. So, the very first thing every beautiful lady needs is a pair of shoes. Now, the historic is we're pretty much doing the artifact part of it. So, got the boots to keep her safe. Also, the whisper silk, just in case we don't find the boots. One or the other will work. Now, this I intentionally have stayed off the internet. I stayed off of EDH Rec. I don't know how this is going to match up with anybody else's. This is my own brainchild here. I don't know. It may be the worst Jhoira deck ever. But here we go. Running Veldalkin Archmage, whatever, for a duplicate copy of her ability, essentially. Playing an artifact, drawn 2, seems kind of ballin' to me. Now, Foundry Inspector, Herald of Kozilek, and Ethereum Sculptor are all make your artifacts cost 1 less. Yes, Helm of Awakening does 2, and it only costs 2, and that would be amazing had I had another one. So, that being said, let's go through, because, we got to have mana, right? Oh, here's one. First off, Shimmer Mirror. Veldalkin Ore also would have been a nice include. But there again, thanks to Josh and Jimmy, those are expensive because they preach them all the time. Now, anything else? Since we are in red and blue, I'm playing the Storm the Vault. By the way, this flips over into Better Academy. And Saheeli Ra, just because maybe I want a copy of an artifact, or a creature, maybe another Veldalkin Archmage. Don't know. Not a. It's just she's in there because I'm playing artifacts and she does things with artifacts and whatever. So let's get to the ramp. Obviously, everybody wants that first turn Soul Ring, and actually, you want the first turn Soul Ring into the Mind Stone, but that way you can do cool stuff with the Dynamo. Now, I went really deep on the artifact ramp here. Colony Gem, Key Runes, and Clue Stones. Mana Prism. You don't really see that one a whole lot, do you? Now, Fractured Power Stone. Me and my playgroup do play a ton of Plane Chase. Just about every week we play at least 1 or 2 games. Now, Sisay's Ring, Sky Diamond and Fire Diamond, Power Stone Shard, 1 Power Stone. I mean, just an absolute ton of artifact mana, because all of these, the reason why is every single one of these is going to draw you a card. In theory, if you turn 1 Soul Ring, they're not. If you turn 1 Soul Ring and you can play Jhoira on turn 2, whatevs. But it's mana ramp. A lot of it is colored, so mana fixing. And cantrips stapled onto every one of them. That seems really good. So I was like, all right. So I'm casting a bunch of artifacts. And hopefully, I got some cheap. By the way, would love to have a spell book and a fabricate. However, I'm out at the moment. It's like, you know what? I just don't feel like I have enough artifacts. So I said, that new fancy Mox Amber, yeah, it ain't found a home anywhere. Jhoira may be the only one that's wearing this necklace. But it does draw you a card when Jhoira's out. And is iffy if it's going to produce. I mean, obviously, it's not going to help you cast her. But it's a cantrip that costs 0. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm like, well, if I'm willing to do that, how far am I willing to go with that? Going to play Turmoil's Crypt. A lot of graveyard strategies out there. It's a free cantrip. Ornithopter. Yeah, blocks the flyer. Memnite. Shield Sphere. Phyrexian Walker. Maybe. Mishra's Bauble. And Fountain of Youth. Oh, Delif's Cone. And Dark Sphere. Now we're getting, kind of leaving the reservation here. Now we're turning it into like Breakfast with Jhoira. So, hinting at the 0 casting cost eggs and whatnot. So, naturally, if we're already down the rabbit hole, we might as well go all the way down with the relic. So I was like, okay. So now, the idea is we're playing artifacts, drawing cards. Playing artifacts, drawing cards. They're all cheaper. They're all free. We're drawing cards. We're playing. Playing a bunch of cards sounds like a storm deck, doesn't it? So, wait. Before we cast the Grave Shot, though, we played the double cast so that we get to blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so, but before we did all that, and we're playing all these eggs, and we're there's a good chance we're going to draw into some of our, I don't know if I want to call them multipliers, but hey, pick them all up, do it again. So we have the Retract, the Hurkyl's Recall, the Rebuild. I'm not running that 5 mana one. It seems a little pricey for what we're trying to do here. Now, because we are just drawing cards. Mana Severance. Gonna cut them lands out because at that point we probably don't need them. We're not a blisteringly fast deck here. Once you get Jhoira out and you untap with her, I think untapping with her is the key point here. So what is that? Turn 4/5-ish. So Mana Severance. Now, Mystical Tutor is going to go find probably your Grape Shot, or your Mind's Desire, because, why not? Now, Merchant Scroll also fills that role. Little bit of, let's see what else we got here. Just some other random artifacts. We have a Sad Robot, and we have a Wayfarer's Bauble, because blue and red have no way to ramp lands into play. So, the Furnace, I got nothing. Okay, I like the Furnace. I'm not in love with the Furnace or anything, but it's the bottom card of a library. Weird. I think that may be why I put it in there. And then an old favorite of mine, Soul to be Digger. I love the Digger, especially when you are able to produce gratuitous amounts of mana. Now, Swan Song protects us because at the lowest possible rate, it's a hard counter for those 3 types, which there's a lot of enchantments and sorceries that can ruin our day, especially if we're all storming. Now, The restoration, this, I don't know. Probably because it's from Weatherlight. 4 mana is a little high. I'll probably take this out for like a brain freeze. When I get a brain freeze. Maybe that spellbook or that fabricate. I don't know. I am running the welder mainly because we got welders now because of the last dual deck thing and an evacuation. But now I also have some different win cons. Like, say, Alter the Brood. You're playing these artifacts, right? So, you play an artifact, they mill 1. The only thing better is, Psychic Corrosion, whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2. So, I play 1, and it triggers a draw 1. So, for each, like, drop and draw, they're milling 3, and that's pretty good. And my last card is Aetherflux Reservoir, because, you know, why not? Now, y'all were expecting to see Laboratory Maniac in here, wasn't you? Yeah, I know you were. But I'm not playing with Laboratory Maniac. Laboratory Maniac seems... Now, I have them in a few decks, and I'm out of Laboratory Maniacs. And you know what? I'm not looking for any more. I'm probably not going to buy any simply because that seems an awful lot like a crutch. It's a crutch that I use. I mean, obviously everyone I have is in a deck. But I think a lot of us use it as a, let's draw my deck and win the game. And while that's fun, don't get me wrong, we've all done it, and it's fun. But I'm trying to find uses for different cards, different ways to play, because if, once you start drawing cards, everybody's automatically going to put you on Labman. They're going to put Labman in your hand or in your deck, and they're going to play around it. And there's nothing better than them playing around a card that you ain't got. Anyway, that's just what I feel. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.